A thirsty crow. There was a crow. At a very hot summer day he was feeling very thirsty. He flew from place to place in search of water, but he could not find it anywhere. He was very sad and disappointed at not getting a drop of it. At last he saw a jug of water. He flew down to the jug and sat on its edge. When he craned his beak to quench his thirst, he saw to his great discouragement that the water was just at the bottom. His beak could not reach such a low level of water. He even tried to overturn the jug, but could not. It was too heavy for him to move. When he was just about to fly in despair, he thought of a plan. Suddenly his eyes fell upon some pebbles lying near the jug. He flew to them, picked up the pebbles one by one and dropped them into the jug. Slowly and slowly the level of water rose and came up to the neck. The crow was overjoyed to see this. He dipped his beak, quenched his thirst and flew away. Moral: where there is a will there is a way. King Bruce and the Spider. There was a king in Scotland. His name was Robert Bruce. He fought many battles and won them. But once he was badly defeated. He ran away from the battlefield to save his life. He took shelter in a cave where he hid himself. He was immersed in deep sorrow, and out of disappointment he gave up all hope and struggle. But one day he saw a spider in that cave. It was trying to reach the roof of the cave where it had a cobweb. It made 6 attempts to reach its web, but every time it slipped down. Now the king got interested and watched the spider carefully. He was astonished to see that spider did not lose heart, but continued its efforts to reach up at the top. At the 7th attempt, the spider was successful in its attempt of reaching its web. This incident boosted up the spirit of King Bruce. He gained new strength and fresh courage. He gathered his forces and fought another battle. This time he fought with new vigor and enthusiasm and was ultimately successful in making his country free. Moral: try again. Union is strength. There was an old farmer who lived in a village. He had 4 sons. Oh, were lazy and idle. They often quarreled among themselves. The old man was very much annoyed with it. So he called his 4 sons and told them that since his end was near, he wanted to teach them a lesson. So he told them that since his end was near, he wanted to give them a useful piece of advice. He sent for a bundle of sticks. It was brought. He asked all his sons turn by turn to break the bundle of the sticks. All tried hard, but none of them was able to break the bundle. Then he asked one of them to untie the bundle. This was also done immediately. Then he asked each of them to break the sticks individually. Now each one succeeded in doing so. The old farmer then said to them, "If you live together in peace, none can harm you. But if you are divided, you will lose." Moral: united we stand, divided we fall. A fox and a goat. A fox was walking near a well. Somehow by incident he slipped in. It was not a very deep well. He tried his best to get out but could not. At that time a very thirsty goat passed by the well and saw the fox there. She asked the fox what he was doing there. The cunning fox replied that he had himself jumped into the well. "I find it very cool and pleasant. If you want to drink sweet and cold water, come down and experience the pleasure here." Without thinking of the result, she jumped into the well. The fox at once jumped on her back, and with another jump he was out of well. The fox smiled at the poor goat and went his way, leaving behind the goat to repent. Moral: look before you leap. A cap seller and the monkeys. There was a cap seller in a city. He used to go from village to village to sell the caps. His way lay through a forest. It was a hot summer day, and it was very hot. He got tired. To get some rest he sat under a shaded tree. Soon he fell asleep under the shadow of the tree. Many monkeys were living on that tree. When they saw the caps, they climbed down the tree, and each one of them put a cap on their head. Then they climbed up the tree again. The cap seller woke up after some time. He found that his caps were missing. By chance he looked up and saw the monkeys wearing his caps. He tried his best to get his caps back, but all his efforts were in vain. Suddenly an idea struck his mind. He took off his own cap and threw it on the ground. Monkeys did the same as they are imitators. The cap seller collected all his caps and went away happily. Moral: intelligence works wonders. Reason for such policy: once an old brewery decided to install a new line for canning so that it enables products to be marketed to the supermarket sector. It was major change for a little company, so it invited all local dignitaries and employees to witness this big change. All came on the day of inauguration of new canning line. After new canning line had been switched on successfully and all formalities were completed, all guests were relaxed and get together in small groups and had drinks and enjoyed buffet. In a corner stood 3 men who were discussing about transport and distribution. One of them was present distribution manager. Other was 2 past employees who once manager in distribution department of company and were very senior and retired. All 3 men represented 3 generation of people worked in distribution management company over span of 50 years. When all were discussing about the process of distribution, present manager shared about stress because of company policy. According to distribution policy, long deliveries to be made on Monday and Tuesday and short deliveries on Fridays and other deliveries other days of week. He continued, "It's so difficult to schedule things efficiently with such policy and new cans and high demands of supermarket." Other nodded in agreement. Manager who was predecessor sympathized, "It was same in my days. It always seemed strange to me that even if trucks returned early on Mondays, still those can't be used on Tuesday for little runs because all local deliveries had to be done on Fridays." Third man, who was the oldest manager, tried to think hard and tried to recall about the reason for such policy, and then, after a while, he smiled and said, "I think I remember now." He said, "During Second World War fuel rationing were introduced, so we stopped using trucks and went on to using horses. On Mondays horses were well rested, hence were took for long deliveries. By Fridays horses were so tired that they could only handle the short local drops." After this, soon after the opening of new canning line company changed its delivery policy. Moral: we should not follow everything blindly. In past, traditions and rules were set according to their present need, but with time conditions change, and we should try learn meaning behind such policies or traditions and change if needed.